there is a need for us to move out of the lockdown. I also do believe that part of our challenge is that we have an economy that is heavily dependent on tourism, and that cannot work in the current mode of lockdowns. The third thing is that we are not testing nearly enough. And from day one, I made this point, Dr. Faith made this point, that if it is we have to ascertain exactly what kind of spread we have of COVID, we have to do mass testing. Mass testing is not available to Trinidad and Tobago still. We are not at a place where we could say, okay, we're going to test a certain percentage of our 1.4 million population. That is what needs to happen to be able to determine how far and wide the spread is, and determine the kind of tactics we need to use, the kind of strategies we need to use. One of the reasons we were trying to influence the government since last year to set up testing facilities in Tobago early on was so that Tobago could have gone ahead of the national curve and could have done some mass testing, because our population size is small on the island. And if we had done some mass testing in Tobago, we could have determined exactly what the spread was like and how to manage it. We also have to begin to keep our immune systems up, because I know people who are well vaccinated that dropping down and dying from COVID. I know people who are unvaccinated who are also dropping down and dying from COVID. It means, therefore, that we have to begin to work on things like our comorbidities, work on our immune systems, have our immune boosters being taken. You have to eat well, exercise well, sleep well, and you have to ensure you eat healthily. You can't put yourself at risk and at the same time not manage your health. Your health is your wellness. Important to you than however much money is you have in the bank. And so you have to manage that well. And so I hope, in the absence of Dr. Faith, I answered your question well. But one of the things I want to guarantee you last, treating with this matter, is that post December the 6th, instead of me coming to an up close and personal, Dr. Faith will come and we will begin to build out for you the strategies for moving out of COVID, because Tobago has to move out of COVID. Tobago has to get to that place whereby we can reopen our economy and begin to make some money. Is Movado, I think that's if you ain't making money, you ain't making sense, right? So you have to begin to make some money, and that's important. Your families are crying out because of the reduced income. People have lost their jobs, and there is a need for you to earn some more, right? So that was question one that I received that people felt I didn't address last night. If there is any sector that you think was unaddressed over the course of the campaign between September 2015 and now, then feel free to let me know, and we can have it addressed before the end of the night or before the top of the hour, because I don't want to be here that long. It has been a long day, and if you look into my eyes, you'll realize that as much as I have demonstrated that I have quite a bit of stamina. I mean, I'm a countryman. And when you're eating good blue food and provision and good fish, rock fish with good iron in your body, you can go for very long periods. But of course, naturally, the whole process will take some toll on me and will present itself to me with some fatigue. And I'm sure all of my candidates are experiencing some level of fatigue as well, because we have been going at this for a long period of time. And so I won't be here very long tonight. I am hopeful. I'm praying that sometime soon after I'm finished, the movie will be ready. And if it's ready, it can be aired. If you can't watch it tonight, you will be able to watch it in the morning. And campaigning ends as of 12 a.m. As of 12 a.m., we are aware of that. To those of you now joining, there has been a challenge with the rendering of the movie that is causing them a challenge. And because of that, I've decided to come and just quickly do this up close and personal to give them some time. You know, sometimes you plan and God has other plans. Or sometimes you plan and things just don't work out. The best laid plans of mice and men do often go awry. I learned that when I was studying the book of Mice and Men in English literature at school. Trying to remember who was the teacher I did of Mice and Men with. Perhaps it was a Miss Lewis, I think. Slim, tall teacher. I haven't seen her in years. She taught us temporarily. Beautiful lady, by the way. Yes, those fellas who were in my class knew that we sort of had a crush on that Miss Lewis with the nice spacey teeth. Yes, so of Mice and Men, I learned a lot from you, Miss Lewis. If ever you see this and you recognize this young chap you taught, you will know that there are fellas from your class who remembered you and remembered your teaching quite well. So let me look for questions. Right, the issue of alternative medicine I'm seeing popping up as one of the issues. In 2017, when we campaigned, we made it a point to say that we want to invest in what we call bush medicine or alternative medicine. And we wanted to get some of our young people, train a lot of our young people, and teach our young people to monetize what we know as bush medicine. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what are the properties and the things my father will concoct from time to time. Right now, if you come home by me, I could give you in a shot glass some roots and herbs and so on that have been soaking in some spirits for a while. Yes, some spirits for a while. And every now and again, I will take a shot of it. And somehow it boosts the immune system. It gets rid of the flu. It is like a booster system. But if you were to ask my father, what are the chemical properties of that which we're drinking? He can't tell. I don't even know if it's just a placebo effect. I can't tell. We can't tell. And it will be worth our while to explore the actual science behind a lot of these medicines that we have developed from either indigenous peoples or that came across the Atlantic with the slaves, and we have retained it over the years. It's worth our while to look into it. I can envision that trumpet bush, that zebra pip, that greater wood, and so on, finding itself in a nice bottled syrup that we can drink, that is palatable, that isn't as bitter because they added sufficient sweetness in it to treat with the bitterness in it. I can envision us making monies from that. Tobago was an island. One of the things we have to do is to begin to look at how do we improve and increase our income outside of tourism and outside of the subventions from the central government. You recognize how the central government has been responding to us, how they have been more or less throwing it in our faces and saying, well, you're not making plenty money, you ain't making enough money to fund your own budget, but you're demanding money from us, right? And I hate that feeling of somebody making you feel as though you're begging, making you feel as though you are less than, as though you are a second-class citizen, as though you are undeserving of. And so the Tobago I wish to lead is a Tobago that is not just bold and audacious, but is a Tobago that is industrious, that is looking for creative ways to earn more money, a Tobago that is productive, a Tobago that earns for itself, not to necessarily earn or keep with Trinidad, but to earn for ourselves. I made a point last night that if our tourism product was actually doing well, we could have actually been supplying the forex market and reducing the shortfall that we actually have now. Because imagine if you can get 100,000 international visitors here through our airport. Imagine the kind of spend that will happen here. All of those US dollars, all of those foreign currencies will make its way into the system. And that will result in our businesses in Trinidad getting access to forex. So we can actually contribute significantly to the nation's development, and we have been, because I notice in all the arguments and all the conversation that some people have been ignoring the fact that we do contribute right now through hydrocarbons, but that is ignored completely. That is ignored completely. Now, let me see if there are any other questions, any final questions. It is now 9:43 p.m. So we are looking, we are approaching the 50 minutes towards 9 p.m. Now, let me say this to you. Tobago is on the cusp of history. Whichever way you vote, we're on the cusp of history. Tobago has to decide what kind of history it wants to make tomorrow. You have to decide that. And I don't know that staying at home makes you the best history maker. History will not absolve you if you stay at home and the wrong decision is made tomorrow. You will feel punished over the next 4 years. But you need to come out and own your democracy, come out and own your destiny, and come out and be a part of something great and big. Everywhere I walk into Tobago, I get this sense from Tobagonians that they are fed up. I get this sense from Tobagonians that they have had enough. I get this sense that, we want something different, Fali. Oh gosh, Fali, time for them to go. I keep hearing that refrain over and over again. And I'm saying to you, it's not enough to wish that they leave office. You have to get up and make that happen. And I want to give the commitment now that we're not on the hustings and, we are taming things down and we're sobering up and we getting to that place where we're about to go to the polls. I want to give the commitment that a THA led by Fali will be a THA for all Tobagonians, for every single Tobagonian, including those who don't support my political ideologies. Because I have experienced in my family what it feels like to be victimized. In fact, let me tell you this story. My parents were old Narites. My mother and father were Narites. But my family, the extended family, has been mixed. I have members of the extended family who have been PNM for donkey years. In fact, I had a great aunt that died at 99 years or 98 years old. And she was like Queen PNM herself. When I first ran and I went by her, she had to tell me a whole long story about Eric Williams and what Eric Williams do for she. I didn't even know if she voted for me, but I went by her nonetheless. But my family, my immediate family, my mother and father were older Narites, and they were there as part of the party groups with people like Ochoy and Carly Dick and so on. And I can remember clearly in 2001, although they were Narites, I was one of those, young, you feel you're bright, you feel approaching fifth form, you're about to do exams in a few months' time. And you thinking, why are my parents wasting time to vote for Naro? They should vote for something else, because we had a rocky 4 years with Mr. Charles. Not that he was a bad leader, but he did not have the resources to do what he needed to do. And I did not understand that at the time. At the time, I just saw the fact that teachers were absent because they were protesting every Monday morning, or it was always some issue. People can't get their pay. And then people were up in arms. We don't have money to pay people, but you find money for ring bang and other. And it was a whole heap of bacchanal. But when the election results ended and now lost the election, my mother at that time used to work with what they call special works, where special works or 10 days, one of those programs. One of those short-term programs that they would employ people. She was a checker then. And I could never forget that almost immediately, in fact, the same night that now lost, I heard supporters of PNM saying, that good, we have to get all of them out of work, get them out, what am I do there? PNM time now. And I live to see that my mother never got gainfully employed until 2009. Prior to 2009, she ended up working on and off as one of those checkers / accountant kind of people with the agriculture department. Whenever somebody went on maternity or somebody was sick, she would fill in, and she filled in for a while until she got fully employed somewhere around 2009. That's the same way I left university. So because my mother and my father did not support PNM in 2001, they were automatically shafted. And the result of that is that we had some struggles while I was going to university. Despite getting the $30,000 grant from the THA, and I heard one lied woman say that she was the one who called my parents to tell my parents I was getting through with this grant. Listen, that woman too lied. But anyway, despite getting that $30,000 grant, it was a struggle because my father was the only employed person in the household for most of the time that I was out there studying. And think of a daily rated worker. Let me nice it up. Think of one of those guys just cutlassing by the side of the road, having to take care of his family at home, trying to complete billing at home, and also trying to send his son to university, to send the first member of the immediate family off to university. And not just university, but university in a foreign country. I remember that there were days when I was without, and I refused to call home to ask for anything because, I started to feel guilty at one point. That is almost as if, your parents don't have it, but you out here trying to call them every minute for money. Yes, you need it, but you just have to do it out. You just have to do it out your textbook. And hopefully you could get it in the library. And those of you who went to UE knows how difficult it can be to get a textbook in the library when there are just a few copies in the library. And some people will take the textbook, keep the textbook over time and willingly pay the fines for the textbook. Sometimes I get the textbook and certain pages were cut out of the textbook and all sorts of madness. But the point I'm making is victimization in Tobago has resulted in several families missing opportunities because not every family will have the kind of guts my family had in saying, yes, we don't have sufficient income, but we will send you by faith. We will find a way to raise the money as we go along. We'll find a way to buy a plane ticket every time you go. And that's why I'm always grateful to my neighbors because a lot of the times they chipped in and supported and helped me on this journey. And that's why I'm a firm believer that, we have to give a commitment post winning that we will take care of everybody. That we are not here to come and slash people jobs and send them home because they're not a member of our team. That's not what we're here for. We are here because we want to make Tobago a better place. We want to build and transform Tobago. We want to take Tobago to dizzying new heights, as Pastor Baines will say. But the only way to do that is with everybody on board. When you have a population size, a resident population size of about 55,000, and that seems not to be growing, it means that you have a very small talent pool to pick from. When you marginalize some people, what you are in effect doing is that you are allowing some of your best minds, some of your brightest minds and brightest talents to not contribute to the development of the island. And chances are they will migrate elsewhere and contribute. And the island loses. And that's not what I want at all. In fact, you may recall that Mrs. Davison Celestine was interviewed by Fazir after I was on Friday. And as I was coming off set, she was there sitting and I greeted her. I actually wished her all the best. And I joked with her. I said, look, I know you're coming up to vote up by me because I believe she votes at Delaford RC, which is part of my district. I said, I hope when you come up to vote, you vote for me, eh? You vote for Fali, eh? And I joked with her and I laughed and I went my way. And that's notwithstanding the fact that we have had a very antagonistic sort of exchange between us during this political cycle and the last political cycle. Because I have learned a long time ago that I should be capable to criticize someone, to be angry with someone, and not be hateful to someone. There's a difference. The Bible says it must be angry and sin not. And one must be capable of rebuking someone in the strongest terms and still find a way to be humane to that person. And that's what I wish for us, not just for us at leadership level, but for us as a whole society. And I know that is difficult to do because I have seen all these slanderous ads. I've seen how they have dominated the airwaves with just pure lies. I have watched people stand on a political platform and just tell tales that just did not happen with a straight face. I have had my moment when I sat down and I said, Lord, what is this? Like nothing never happened. So how this story is being told as if that is what happened, you know? And I had my moments of disappointment and hurt within the campaign. But as the leader of Team PDP, I have to demonstrate to my team that notwithstanding the acrimony that exists between the both sides, we have to lead the process of healing post December the 6th. In fact, as of the night of the victory, I can imagine it now. Imagine it with me. We are there. It's tomorrow night. PDP don't win. Everybody want to celebrate. And perhaps I should tell you now that yes, everybody wants to celebrate, but I will talk to my team and caution us about the large scale gathering in Roxborough, because you see all this police set up here that has never happened in the election, in any election in Tobago. It starts to feel as though the state is using the state machinery, using the police service to try to bully their way into winning an election. It is starting to feel that way. But notwithstanding that, I am confident that Tobagonians will rise above that. And what I will want to do is to lead my team in getting past all of the bitterness and rising above it. It is difficult to be in the kind of politics that we are in and not make enemies, but it is better. It's best when you can make good friends. I had some good friends on the other side. I have spoken to only one of them since this election cycle. We bounced up at a funeral and we had a very warm exchange as we usually do. This is a friend that I used to bake my famous chocolate cake and give to and so on, and I'll pass by her for harvest and so on, and we'll sit and lime. This is one of my friends who I told I was running with PDP before I even told my parents I was running with PDP. So I saw, and we exchanged greetings, quite warm and cordial. I have another friend, I haven't seen him in a while since the last election, and he lost his seat. I have not seen him. We have not touched base since then. I don't know when we see each other what the interaction will be, but the point is, we have to find ways to live beyond all of what we have. Right? We have to find ways to live beyond all we have had. For those asking about the movie, let me just do a follow-up to see what's going on. And I could probably tell you, I know they were having some serious technical difficulties, and that's why I decided to do this. So sorry, Jessica, for the false advertising, because I know you didn't come to watch me sit down and talk about how we ought to transition outside of this. But I felt it's important to share it because we are at this place where we're ready to close up the campaign and we are ready to move on to our next place. So I'm just asking them for an update so that I can get an update when this is finished. I can give you an update. We have some folks here. Right, so I understand that the movie is on its way here, so I can smile. What will happen? Stay on the live. We're not going to break the live. We are going to transition seamlessly from the live all the way. We're straight into the movie. I hope you enjoy this movie thoroughly. The movie is really about a bullifay run. And you know the symbol of the PDP is the bullifay. And what we sought to do was to spread the love of the fires of our love all around this island. And we ran with a concept whereby I started at sunset in Charlottesville, made my way all the way around the northern side of the island, and I passed the bamboo bullifay onto my brother Ian Pollard, and I collected it from Brother Watson in Delaford and arrived in Speyside on time for sunset. But while we are there doing this relay, we are telling our love story for Tobago and for our districts. We are telling you why we love you and the things we wish to do for and with you. We are telling you about the kinds of development we want to have done on the island. And so it is that kind of story that we are telling, right? Is that kind of story we are telling. So the movie will be here, and we will transition seamlessly from the movie into from this into the movie. So maybe I'll have time for one more question. So let me just check the live to see if there's one question or comment that you can get. Right, so there's a question on the screen. The fish vessel that was purchased for the Castara men, would you bring it back? Oh, I love this question. I love this question because I represent Castara, and one of the first things they told me about was this fishing vessel called the Capital of Paradise, which we had, but and I'm pausing because it's frustrating that we had this idea that we will give some young men a setup meaning that they will have a chance to move past fishing in pirogues and get into commercial fishing. And so the Capital of Paradise was purchased. And at this moment, nobody on the island can give account, well, except them, account for where the Capital of Paradise is, what is happening with the boat. The last thing I heard is that they needed to take it down to Suriname to do some repairs. There was all sorts of bacchanal over it. The fishermen who were part of the project, they were unceremoniously booted from the project, and they just were left hanging, no explanation given to them, nothing. And so I really wish to say here and now that this is one of the things that we will look back at. We will find the boat and we will give the people their boat, right? I don't think that the THA needs to be in the direct day-to-day operations of a fishing vessel, but I will be willing to take this fishing vessel and give this fishing vessel to the people of Castara, to the young men in Castara, and let them operationalize it. We can work out an arrangement where they pay us back for the vessel over time. But at this point, the state of that vessel, I don't know what's the value of it. So it's something we have to assess. But yes, I am heavily in favor of ensuring that the fisher folk who are part of that project, that they are duly compensated and that they get a chance to actually earn from it. We treated them unfairly. It was a good idea that was mismanaged. And that's part of the problem we have had over the last 21 years. A lot of good ideas that were poorly managed, a lot of good ideas that failed, a lot of good ideas that people just try to be corrupt, and as a result, the thing did not work out. And yes, when you had to find the vessel, things bad, because we have been asking, what about the Capital of Paradise? Where is it? In whose hands is it in? Because I have had an experience whereby there was a boat purchased to carry the workers of Little Tobago across Little Tobago to take care of the island. The boat probably worked for a month, if so long, and it parked upon the sand because they purchased the wrong type of boat. The workers told them not to purchase that boat. The workers told them the type of boat to purchase. The secretary found some friend who was selling a boat and went and buy the boat from the friend. And so the boat was parked up on the beach in Speyside for a while. Then they moved it from there and it was parked up on the trolley outside Speyside High School for a while. Then the boat left the village. I asked in the house, I said, where is the boat? The Secretary of Agriculture at the time, Mr. Spencer, said, oh, the boat is down in Boko, it's being stored there, and we're taking good care of it. The day after he gave that response in the house, somebody took me to Betsy's Hope to show me the boat covered down in a garage, right in Betsy's Hope, right? The government property. The point is that way of doing business has to change. It is one of the reasons why we have lost things significantly. Now, somebody saying, when is schools going to open? Schools are set to open in January, right? Now, I am just going to read to you the letter I wrote for you, Tobago, today. When I took a break to have lunch and so on, I wrote this letter. Immediately after reading this letter, and Master Control, give me the thumbs up if you'll be ready to just shoot. Master Control, right? So immediately after reading this letter, we will transition into your lovely movie, and Fali could make his way home to get some rest, to wake up very early in the morning so that we can all be set to go as soon as the polls are open. So here's my letter to you, Tobago. And maybe, can we zoom in? Cameraman? So give me a quick zoom in so they can see it in my authentic crapo lefto handwriting. Yes, my attempt at my writing, my cursive writing is not the best at all. So yes, you can see it's my handwriting. This is how I write. So my cursive is not the best. And I'm just going to read for you what I jot on this paper. I can't just share it online because Miss Hackett might kill me if she look at it and see a set of grammatical errors and poor punctuation. And when you're writing in a hurry, sometimes you don't pay attention to the grammatical constructs and so on. So here it goes. Dear Tobago, the greatest little island on the planet in waiting. This evening, on the cusp of one of the most critical decision days in Tobago's recent history, I must share with you once more from my heart. You see, you have molded me, Tobago. Your soil has nourished and steadied me. Your waters have provided solace, strength, and sustenance. Your people have raised me, and you have shaped and embraced my journey to manhood and my desire to selflessly serve and elevate all of us as Tobagonians. Tobago, I am because you are. All of you. Your history, your resilience, your generosity, your intelligence, your ingenuity, your energy, your culinary skills, the sweet hand, your dialect and artistic expressions, your talent, your sons and daughters, past and present, your sincerity and compassion, even your imperfections and attendant frustrations are the motivating forces that drive my quest to truly transform this place we call home and to see her fulfill her greatest potential. A quest that I need every Tobagonian to join me on, as together we are stronger and together we can consciously shift mindsets and attitudes in a positive direction. It matters not where in the world you are tonight. We are stronger when united in vision. Tobago, I have traveled the world, and this has only strengthened my resolve that we can be as good as any and better than many. In fact, we can be the best. We therefore ought not to let our identity be hidden, neither our rich and proud legacy placed on any back burner. Like the bamboo bullifay lights, the darkest night, so too should the Tobagonian flame forever illuminate every space that we occupy, including the space within this Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. My Tobago, this letter to you won't be much longer, as I have poured out the contents of my heart since September 15th, when we launched our workshop, and I have always poured out whenever I come to you. Authentically, flaws and all. Like you, Tobago, I am not perfect, and like every Tobagonian, I am human. And this human is on a journey to inspire all of us to dream big and to create a place that we are all proud of, a place with thriving industries and thriving people, a place where systems work, and a place where we all work dutifully and diligently. So join me and the Progressive Democratic Patriots Tobago. Let us shift gears and ready ourselves on this, the cusp of one of the most critical decision days in Tobago's recent history. Join us on this revolutionary journey of change after 21 long years. And be sure to take more than one person with you. Join us from 6 a.m. tomorrow as we all use our index finger to resoundingly signal that we are all excited to become the greatest little island on the planet. Tobago, I'm your son, Farley Chavez Augustine, Junior, if you please, and you will forever hold my heart in your hands. I love you, and let me fix this. Yours truly, Farley Chavez Augustine. I thank you, Tobago. I thank you for being with me and us throughout this journey. I thank you greatly for this privilege that I could lead a team in this election, and this privilege that so many of you took time out since September 15, and even before that, to listen to me. Thank you all for all the encouragement, for all the prayers. The people who have called me that I don't know and just prayed for me, thank you. The people who called me and did not get me, but wanted to pray for me, still pray for me. I receive it all from you. And I thank you, Tobago. Tomorrow is in your hands, no longer in mine. It's in your hands. And I leave it all up to you and Almighty God above. Thank you, and I love you, Tobago. We now go to the film you have been waiting on.